Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner and welcome to your latest Chelsea transfer news. As I said, over the next few days, what's going to transpire is quite a lot of departures are going to take place. Players that are going to be sold or players that are going to be loaned out as well. Lots that needs to be moved on. Lots we need to figure out how we're going to develop them over the upcoming future. And one of the names, ladies and gentlemen, that is on the list at the moment is Mamadou Sarr. Mamadou Sarr, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys remember, we've purchased him from Strasbourg, I believe, earlier this year. Roughly around, I think, 14 million euros, something like that price. Do let me know in the comment section exactly what that price might be if you guys are aware. But I think it was something around 14 million euros. Chelsea bought him from Strasbourg. You know, I suppose scouting and noting that he could potentially turn out to be a very, very quality defender in the future. So Chelsea bought him long-term contract. I believe it's something around 7 or 8 years contract. And there was some sort of a feel that maybe potentially he could be part of Chelsea first team squad in the upcoming season. However, the news we're going to go through very, very soon. And then that sort of consequently has an effect on Anselmino and so on and so forth in all the loan moves they can do to Strasbourg, do at Strasbourg. So now what the situation is with Mamadou Sarr, ladies and gentlemen, is that he's not going to be sticking around at Chelsea Football Club. He is going to be loaned back to Strasbourg. And a lot of fans, lots of fans, large part of the Chelsea fan base seems to be a little bit confused, seems to be a little bit upset or a little bit disgruntled about this. And I'm like, I don't think we need to be. I think this is actually a good move from Chelsea Football Club. Look, Mamadou Sarr may be the backroom staff, maybe Maresca, maybe the directors, whoever it is, they probably assess that, you know what, he's probably not in the right time at the moment. Is probably not ready to crack into the first team and be a prominent member of Chelsea Football Club for the upcoming season. Let's send him back to Strasbourg, where he was an important player. Strasbourg are in the Conference League, so that's European level of competition. Let him, let Chelsea Football Club send him back to Strasbourg, continue his development, as opposed to sort of stifle his growth and just sticking around in the bench. So look, I've got no issues about this. I think it all makes sense. As I said, when you start sort of moving in the right direction, which Chelsea Football Club seem like we are moving in the right direction, situations like this, you start understanding a lot more. You really do. Because when things are not that great, you start wondering, what are we doing with these sort of players? Now I'm starting to figure out, you know what, look, and there is a fantastic financial gymnastic that's happening here. Now, I believe Strasbourg bought Mamadou Sarr for approximately about 12 million euros or 10 million euros, something like that. Chelsea Football Club saw the talent, saw that, you know what, he could potentially have a larger value than what he has right now. If we just showcase his talent and nurture him and develop him, we could potentially double that money. So Chelsea got in early before he started spiking upwards and paid about 14 million to get his services for Chelsea in a long-term contract. So already you can see Strasbourg making a little bit of profit, not a large sum of profit, but a little bit of profit there. Bought him for about 10, 12 million euros, sold him for about 14 million. So there's a small little profit there for Strasbourg, right? Just so that Strasbourg's book, the accounts are looked after. Now, Chelsea have bought this player for 14 million and now sending him back to Strasbourg on a loan. And I'm pretty sure there'll be a little bit of loan fee there. Might not be in millions, but there'll be something there. So already Chelsea cashing in on some form of his loan. It might even be a free loan. I don't know, but I'm pretty certain there'll be a small little percentage there. And already you can see how Chelsea are operating within this multi-club model and basically doing business with each other. And I know this is what UEFA are very weary about, that making sure, hey, Chelsea, don't be manipulating anything too crazy and too hefty around here. It's got to be still within the means and the rules and regulations of the books. And this is where Chelsea are someone like Mamadou Sarr, they're not blowing the numbers out of the water. Strasbourg bought him for about 10, 12 million euros. Chelsea buying him for about 14. Everything is within the means, as you can see. So loan fee, I'm pretty sure, will be within the means. But what's going to happen is he's going to go back to Strasbourg. Hopefully he keeps developing. Hopefully he has a stellar season once again. He was an important player for Strasbourg last season. This time he gets to express himself in the Conference League. And all of a sudden, if he has a very good season by the end of the season, when he returns back to Chelsea Football Club, there could be two options. One, he could become a key member of the first team squad, or his value goes from 14 million, what Chelsea Football Club ended up paying for his services at Strasbourg, could end up being potentially in excess of 20 million, maybe 25 million, maybe 30 million euros. So as you can see, this is what is going on, and this is the revenue stream, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea are doing business within themselves, developing players' value, appreciating the value, and then selling. So, and look, as I said, down the track could potentially become a Chelsea player. And a lot of these players might not even be Chelsea players. Ultimately, it's about growing them, developing them, appreciating their value. And look, ultimately, I'm pretty certain Mamadou Sarr will find a good club to go to if his growth is going in the right direction. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are worried about this. What are we doing? What are we doing? Not everyone's going to make it at Chelsea. A lot of them is in regards to the money that we're going to make out of them. Ugochukwu is another prime example that we're going to make money out of. And there's quite a lot of like that. Anselmino could potentially be something like that as well. Now, check out this news, ladies and gentlemen. Exclusive. Strasbourg agreed deal to sign Mamadou Sarr on loan from Chelsea. The defender is back to the club. After signing an 8-year deal at Chelsea, Sarr returns to Strasbourg on loan as key part of Rosenior's plans for upcoming season with top 5 ambition in League 1. Can you imagine if Strasbourg get into top 5 in League 1? And that too, with the services of Mamadou Sarr, he'll easily become a 30 million euros defender. Easy money. With the amount of contract terms left, years left in his contract, he'll definitely become that type of money if the growth is in the right direction. Now, this news of Sarr going to Strasbourg means one less loan spot available. Now, a lot of people are also saying, and once again, in the comment section, correct me if I'm wrong, I've seen legitimate sources saying that because Mamadou Sarr is less than 20-year-old, apparently the loan quota for Strasbourg is locked. You can only send 3 loanees to Strasbourg. Anyone else you're going to have to sell. But the loan quota altogether, the international quota, I don't think that affects because he's less than 20 years old. But correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section. But a lot of people getting worried what's going to happen to Anselmino. Anselmino was designated to go to Strasbourg. It was meant to be Penders, it was meant to be Kendry Paez, and it was meant to be Anselmino. Well, now there's no Ansel. Well, now you're sending Sarr there. What's going to happen with Anselmino? Because Paez and Penders are definitely going there. There's rumors about Ishe Samuel Smith perhaps going to Strasbourg as well, but that is on a permanent sale. Once again, don't get worried. Permanent sale of Ishe Samuel Smith to Strasbourg is still within the same umbrella. If anything, Chelsea get a pure profit out of it, which is fantastic. And if we want to buy Ishe Samuel Smith down the track, then Strasbourg gets some profit out of it as well. So don't stress about all of these. These are some, financial gymnastics that's taking place. So what's going to happen to Anselmino? Let's check this out, because that does have a domino effect with Sarr going to Strasbourg. Mamadou Sarr's return to Strasbourg, revealed last night, also means Aaron Anselmino won't join the French club. Chelsea are assessing different loan options for Argentinian defender. Now, look, a couple of things can happen here. He's actually been around with Chelsea Football Club since January this year. So he could potentially stay at Chelsea Football Club. Maybe Maresca's seen enough to say, do you know what? I might give you a bit of minutes. Stick around with the first team squad and just keep developing like this. You're going to get some minutes here and there, and potentially you're slowly going to be embedded into the first team. Or we're going to send him off to a different loan, whether it's Marseille. It was meant to be Marseille last season in January, or anywhere else in Europe. Maybe a Premier League move. Who knows? And that might just bode well for Anselmino's growth as well. Once again, he might not be a Chelsea player. It's all about exposing him, making him grow, developing his strengths and his skill set, and down the track, making a quick buck out of him. That might be the case. So watch this space. What happens with Anselmino? Right now, we are littered with a lot of defenders. We need to get rid of quite a few if we want to buy any more, because we've got Levi Colwell, we've got Benoit Badiashile, we've got Tosin, we've got Chalobah. There's still Achapong there as well. Sometimes Reece James could play as an RCB. We've seen Cucurella play as an LCB. So there's a lot of options there. We still haven't got rid of Desassi. Fofana, Wesley Fofana, who we keep forgetting, he's still there at Chelsea Football Club. So plethora of defenders. These two, they are definitely on that development sort of scale at the moment. And, by them developing will mean they're going to increase their value. Let's see what happens down the track for them. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about Anselmino and Mamadou Sarr. Do you think they're going to have a career at Chelsea Football Club? They very may well down the track. We shall see. But one thing's for certainty, money, money, money. That is coming our way. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, understand Chelsea are still closing doors to loan exit for Carney Chukwuemeka. Borussia Dortmund have been in talks for weeks over loan, but no green light from Chelsea. Chelsea want permanent exit or no way, as BVB also consider more options for new midfielder. I don't mind this, to be honest. Yeah, Borussia Dortmund, enough with these loan business. If you really like him, buy him. And if you're not interested, no problems. Do you know what? The loan spell to Borussia Dortmund has done Chukwuemeka a lot of good. It's put him out there in the market, and I think he's definitely sellable. And you know what? If we want to keep him, because we are looking for another attacker, I've got no issues about keeping him. I still believe in Chukwuemeka. There's a lot of quality in him. He can definitely play in the half spaces. He can definitely play out wide, and you can play him in midfield too. He's a very, very good midfielder. So let's see what happens. I don't think his career at Chelsea Football Club is open as yet at the moment. I think it's quite close, but I think he's a very much a marketable player that can be sold to any other Premier League clubs for a decent amount of money. I think Chelsea are looking at about £40 million. I'm not sure whether we're going to get that level of money, but I think ultimately we should get a good fee, because there is a lot of potential in Chukwuemeka. I think we bought him for about 20 million odd. Once again, let me know in the comment section exactly how much we bought him for. I think it is about 20 million odd. So Borussia Dortmund, bring the money, or else we'll find a suitor for Chukwuemeka. He's not going to be that difficult to be sold. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about everything we spoke about, especially in regards to Mamadou Sarr and Anselmino. What are their future? How do you feel about it? In the comment section, let me know. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, take care. See ya.